like you were enjoying that music, Tim Burt. You were really digging that music.
I was.
The background just kind of like doing a little happy dance back there, weren't you? Hey, everybody, we are here, Ultimate Media Mastery. I am Clarissa Burt. I am going to be not hosting this time. I'm going to hand it over to Tim Burt and to Bruce Serbin. You guys know who they are. Some of the best in the business when it comes to media, PR, media marketing. Tim having had a background at CBS Radio, having written over 30,000 commercials. Bruce works with some of the most of the famous celebrities on the planet with his PR company. And they brought a lovely guest today that has a story that you wouldn't believe. Her name is Dana Priyanka Hammond, and they suggested to bring her on because they are working with her. So I thought, why not just go ahead and hand it over to Tim and to Bruce so that they can explain who she is, and then she can tell us what working with Tim and Bruce has meant for her voice, her message, and her business. So without further ado, Tim, would you like to get started?
Sure. Finally, people get to hear from me and not Clarissa all the time. This will be nice. Actually,
all right, I have the power to bump you off this interview. I do. I got a click. I got a clicker. I click. You're gone.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. Whatever. Now, Dana, I would say Bruce and I probably operate from the same mindset that we won't just work with anybody, and Clarissa's probably the same way. I mean, there's a pretty stringent requirement list that you have to check off all the boxes before we say yes and start working with you, because you've got to be different, unique, better. I mean, there's a whole list of things. And Dana's story is, and she'll tell it here in just a minute, but her story is so incredible that it almost felt like I would be doing a disservice to humanity if I did not work with this woman.
Wow.
She's got a new book out. She's got, in fact, we co-authored a book together that came out, I think, earlier this year. And it was the Guinness Book of World Records book. And she's a co-author. I'm a co-author in it. And I wrote the foreword. She asked me to write the foreword for her book, which I did gladly. And her story is just incredible. And that's the whole reason why that she is here. So Dana, tell everybody your story. Kind of condense it down if you can. I know it's thick, but
don't talk a lot like Clarissa does. Don't do that, okay?
Yeah, that's bad form.
I certainly won't, but no story, condensing it down. I pretty much was child trafficked, abducted under my parents' nose, potentially adoption trafficked. And not many people know about adoption trafficking. And so that's why Bruce and Tim came into the picture to package me together, because I was almost there, but not quite. And so they just cleaned me up and put it together. What I mean by that is just created a website for me to so that way we can send people directly to a website where it can educate them regarding different types of trafficking, human trafficking that takes place besides sex trafficking, labor trafficking, and organ trafficking. There's also
Looks like we lost her. Okay. Well, she does have a link. So whether this is something, an internet related thing, or she, just we lost her, she does have the link so she can get back on. But why don't I take it over to Bruce for a second? I know that you and Tim work a lot in tandem with different clients. Again, Tim on the marketing side, you on the PR side. What was it about Dana's story that was so compelling to you both, is the question I'll ask, that was so compelling that you just had to work with her and couldn't say no?
It's one of these stories that when you hear it, it's like, my God, nobody should ever have to go through such a thing. And anyway, there she is. We'll let her continue.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Dana.
Sorry about that malfunction. Okay, so it's adoption trafficking. So I was glad that when I shared my platform to both Tim and Bruce, Tim shared it with Bruce. And so they were glad to come and be part of my team to work with me. And I can't tell you how relieved I felt, because this was just preparing me to the next level that I've been wanting to go anyways. And without being able to, I can't go there by myself. So it really takes a team to take you to the level that you need to go and to be heard out as a voice in itself. And I think for a long time, it is for a long time, my voice has fallen on the ground and nobody would hear me out. And when it would get heard out, a lot of people has chastised me over my story or my experience. So they really disregarded my value. So now here's my time to shine, to be able to tell my story, as well as create a platform where I can let people know about what I rose from and not have a victim mentality, but be a victor in the circumstance that I went through, which was being abducted at the age of 4, thrown in a rice sack, and then going to the orphanage, coming to America, and then going through abuse with my first adopted parents. And because of the neglect and abandonment and abuse, that led to then being in my life growing up as a teen to being adopted again once more. So that's what my story is about in a nutshell in itself.
Tim, Bruce, I understand perfectly why you wanted to work with her. Absolutely. Yeah. Listen, you know what I'm going to do? Let me send a ticker so that we can, there you go, right there, humantraffickinginc.com. While we're talking about it, if anybody wants to go take a look at her website. Go ahead, Tim.
I was just going to say there's also another component she left out of this whole thing. And this is, it's one thing to, from what you've heard, and she's telling her story, the being abducted at a train station in India at the age of 4 and going to the orphanages and all this. But the other thing is, she's on a worldwide mission to find her birth parents. She doesn't know who her birth parents are. That to me that's the icing on this cake, which is not a very good cake, but that's the part that is just phenomenal. And that's the thing that everybody can follow along and, let's help her find her parents.
Yeah, I would love to do that. It comes to mind right off the top of the bat that I work with a woman. I'm collaborating with a woman in India, and she runs the Women's Economic Forum, and she's got 1,000 gajillion followers and that sort of thing. So maybe we can make that happen. Get them together, and maybe we can get some stages for her as well. That would really help. I'd like to see that. I can see it happening already. I've got it envisioned. Bruce, your take on how it is from a PR standpoint that you want to work with, or you are working with Dana, and what is it that goes through your mind as you're setting this up for her?
And it's going to be phenomenal. She actually has been working with Tim first, which is sort of the process, because he kind of gets the messaging and the marketing down pat before, you turn somebody over to me. But, it's funny because Dana and I were talking, and it's just, we're at the point now where we're just waiting for this COVID stuff to kind of just, cool off a little bit more. And, so that's not such the focus. And once it does, like I've told Dana, this is going to be phenomenal because, as we know, the media loves, really good stories, and especially ones where we're talking about overcoming, enormous odds. And, not only did she, have to go through this, but how she's persevered and turned into the success that she is today. And, I've got my copy right here. And that's something I was going to ask you, Dana. A lot of people, going through something like this, when I was reading the book, I was like, oh my God, I'd be done at this point, right? Yeah. That's just it. But you just kept going and going. And how do you do that? I wanted to ask you that.
I'm going to put the book up while you answer that question. I got it. Go ahead, Dana.
Honestly, there's been many times that I just wanted to give up. I wanted to quit. I just literally, I was at a verge where I wanted to die several times. And I went through suicidal thoughts. I went through actually going through suicide. I went through where my mind just couldn't take the amount of pressure anymore, because it's been one thing after another. And really, honestly, in order to get there, I really came on a journey where I really found God, and God actually had to come to me, and not because I didn't even know that God even existed. So that's what finally relieved all the burden and the tension and identity crisis that I was dealing with, the instability in my life, where now, as you can see, I'm completely stable, but I'm still a work in progress.
Absolutely. I wouldn't know. I don't think that I could conjure up one person on the planet that wouldn't be, after all the things that you've been through. So what is it that you Tim and Bruce are sort of planning, if you don't mind my asking, as the rollout for Dana, and where we might be seeing her?
That's a Bruce question. I've done my job.
Thanks. No pressure there. But no, I think as far as the rollout, you know, this is going to give, you know, so many people hope, you know, so many people, not just victims of trafficking per se, but anybody going through anything really. It's just, it's such a strong message of hope and to keep going and to never quit. And, you know, when we hear a lot of that, of course, but this is, you know, it just really takes that, you know, sounds cliche, to the next level, but I mean, after everything she's been through. So as far as what I'm thinking, I mean, in terms of traditional media, I mean, the world is her canvas, so to speak. I mean, there's, you know, with a book, you know, number one, you've got talk radio, you've got local morning television, you know, anytime the topic is in the news, I mean, she's going to be a phenomenal source to speak about, you know, what those people have gone through, you know, where they go to next, how they recover. So there's a lot of things that we're going to do, and we're going to get cooking here shortly. Like I said, we've just been kind of waiting for all this, you know, unfortunate news lately. I
kind of smell a TED Talk.
Absolutely.
I do kind of smell a TED Talk here too. I mean, why not, right? This would be a phenomenal movie. You know, the story here.
It's funny you mentioned that, because we're actually trying to work on a documentary of Dana going back to try to find her birth parents, and that in and of itself, plus you take all of the other components of this story and you add it on top of that, it's you know, again, it was like I said in the beginning, how can you say no to this?
Yeah, you can't.
You know?
I totally get it. You couldn't. And this is a story, Dana, that I think, you know, and I had another interview today that didn't happen, but so that was pretty intelligent, wasn't it? I had an interview that didn't happen. It was supposed to happen, but internet got in the way, not on my end for this time, but on someone else's end. And I work with very frequently with DomesticShelters.org, and this is for, you know, women and children that are abused, some men, but not many, and the different shelters that they have all over the United States and Canada. So I do a PSA for them weekly, so that we keep the message out during COVID times. And now with the rioting and all these things happening, people are trying to get away from abusers. And it never ceases to amaze me all what human beings are capable of doing to one another. It really is something that boggles my mind. So I have to say, you know, your fortitude is something that I absolutely have to bow down and I don't know that, like you said before, when you had your suicidal thoughts, I don't know that I could have made it through something like that. So that's an extraordinary story, and I can see this doing really amazing things. So you're with the right people, Dana, let me tell you, to get the story out and to make it take it to exactly where you want to take it. Guys, this is a mission, and it can be also a part of a movement if you really wanted to take it that way.
Yes.
Bruce, how do you start a movement? Tim, anybody have an idea?
It starts with the core. I mean, it starts with that, you know, her story is, if that doesn't start a movement, I don't know what will.
I don't either.
I mean, seriously, you know, it's and you hate to say it, and I hate to say the words coming out of my mouth. I can't even believe it. It's like I have to say it because it's true. She had to go through this to get to this point.
Yep.
You know, to help other nameless, faceless people around the planet. We don't know. And we'll probably never know.
Yeah.
Somebody had to go through this, and Dana, it was you, but you can be that symbol of hope for somebody that we'll never meet. You know, and we've got to package, you know, like we've been working on packaging you up, and now we get you to Bruce, and Bruce turns the spotlight on you and says, "Here, go talk to all these people."
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Speakers agencies as well. I'm sure you guys have thought about it.
Sure.
But this is the kind of thing that, this is totally inspirational, motivational, overcoming obstacles. This goes right down that path in a perfectly beautiful way. I'm sure you and Tim, Bruce, you have speakers agencies and bureaus that you can be in contact with. I've got quite a few myself that I'd be happy to share with you, both you guys, so that you can, put her also in the absolute right place that she needs to be in order to get the stages that she needs to be getting. I mean, wow. I'm totally blown away. Plus, one of my, my platform is women's empowerment. So you're really barking up the right tree here.
Thank you so much. Can I say something?
Go ahead, honey. I'm sorry.
Speaking of which, I'm glad you mentioned that. I have been wanting to go in the speaking engagement platform anyways. I mean, paid speaking engagements, of course, because, I got a child and a single mom. So it it doesn't work. It's not easy to be in the area where I'm at. Because of everything that I went through, I'm not saying that it's everything's peachy cream even now. I still find myself going through where I'm having people who are jealous of me or character bashing me. And one of the things that I have always found that was very, very sensitive to me, which is when somebody attacks my mind, like my mental stability, because you read it when you get the chance to read my story, you will see from everything that I go through, you would be like, well, why would she not suffer from PTSD? Why would she not go through that? So why would somebody still turn around and go and say, well, she's mentally unstable? I mean, she's just a lunatic. She's crazy. Right. And that's one of the things that till this day, I have been still going through. And I don't feel sorry. I just feel bad for those people who have been in my life. And I just think that I made a wrong mistake of allowing them to continue to be in my life and not getting rid of them.
Yeah. Well, obviously you're at no fault, and healing is a one day at a time process. And it looks like you're doing an amazing job doing that. Again, you couldn't be in the hands of, two the most incredible professionals on the planet to help you get to where you need to be, but not necessarily just for you, but as Tim said before, for so many other people that need to hear the message. Guys, any last thoughts, questions, concerns?
When Dana was just talking about when people are attacking her character or you're crazy or whatever, you almost wonder, does that person have any clue what this woman's been through?
Yeah.
Like, what could you possibly throw at her that she has not seen? And that's why I was laughing. Like, really?
Yeah.
You're going to attack her?
Yeah.
Like, of all the people on this planet I would not attack, it's Dana. Because, I mean, she got the mama claws come out and all. Oh, man. No thanks.
It kind of goes down the path of really. Bring it. Because there's nothing you could do to me I haven't already been through. So
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Bruce?
Exactly.
Dana, you just gotta, and this, just ignore it. Unfortunately, in the world we live in, no matter what you say, people are always going to find something negative to say, and you just gotta be true to who you are and just ignore them.
Yeah, Bruce, is that old adage then, Bruce? As long as if they're talking bad, as long as they're talking about you.
There you go.
Isn't that sort of one of the platforms, if you will, of PR, as long as they're talking about you, even if
as long as they're talking about you, exactly.
Guys, I can't thank you enough for bringing Dana on. It's really been amazing to meet her first off, and another eye-opening experience again to the testament of how men really, and how we treat one another, how men and women treat one another is something I will never comprehend. But really sorry for what you went through, Dana, but obviously you were chosen by a higher power to be able to make a difference, and that's exactly what you're doing. So I wish you all the best in doing that. And then I'll be speaking to Tim and Bruce about other ways that we might be able to help you. I would love to have your book in my magazine. We can do a book review for you. I'd love to be able to do that. We'll get you with the WEF and then any speaker platforms that I have that the guys don't know about, I'd be happy to share with.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Dana,
guys.
when does the book come out, Dana? When is it released?
It's coming out on the 18th of this month, but you can pre-order it right now, both on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and you can get your ebook as of right now. It's available.
They put it back up again. Excellent. Abandoned but not forgotten. There it is right there. One woman's true story of being abducted as a child to scouring the planet for her birth parents. Let's finish with that a second. Tim, Bruce, I don't know. Where do you start looking for your birth parents? Well, I'm assuming in India in this case. I don't know.
Yeah. 23andme.com. I don't know. I mean, really, where do you start?
Where do you start? Yeah,
actually, I already put my DNA information out there with Tim mentioned 23andMe, Ancestry.com. I've also reached out to a program in India that does help you to find your birth parents. They've had success, a couple of success stories of helping other Indian people find their Indian families. Right. So I've linked myself up with them, but unfortunately right now, because of the COVID, they haven't been able to go out in the field and look for my extra background information, like go to the courthouse or go to the orphanages that they know about to hound them to get extra documents if there is any. That's a good place. And then second, after that, their plan is to have me to go to India and be on the news media that can flash all over India and say, hey, I'm that missing person, yada, yada, yada. Did you find my family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got some nice connections in India as well that we might be able to help you with that. I don't know who you know, or, I don't know who you know, but I certainly have a couple of great connections there that might be able to help you out a little bit there. Where in India?
Pune, India. It was the last place I was found and dropped off at the orphanage over there.
I've been there. Yeah. Okay.
And and just one other really quick thing. There was a part, I helped her edit her book, and there was one part in there that just hit me like a ton of bricks. And it's the part about the orphanage. Dana, do you remember what it said on the paperwork and how they classified you at the orphanage? What did that say?
It said that I was abandoned. They created an abandonment certificate of abandonment. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, but it says something like no known parents, no
known parents. But that's another heavy topic to touch base, because we don't know if they're even telling the truth.
Yeah,
we don't know, because orphanages, I'm not saying all, are the guilty party of adoption trafficking.
Yeah.
So that's where the heavy hitters are coming from. A lot of adoptees are actually trafficked without even knowing it. And that's why when internationally, like in America or from Germany or France, anyone who wants to adopt a child from Africa, India, or wherever, they're being charged $10,000 to $35,000 per kid.
Yeah.
That's how you know that's human slavery.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, okay. I do wish you all, I wish I could be a fly on the wall for that reunion, because I just know it's going to happen soon. Sooner or later. I would love to be in that room when you and your parents and your family find each other again. That would be awesome. All right, guys, anything else to add before we say goodbye? Bruce?
Go get her book.
Yeah, congratulations, Dana.
Tell me where you can find the book again. I'm going to put it up. Where can you find the book again, Dana?
Amazon and Barnes & Noble. You can get your e-copy right now, and you can pre-order right now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble as well.
Okay. So, Abandoned but Not Forgotten by Dana Priyanka Hammond, everybody. That's it for now. Again, Tim, excellent job. Love the guest that you brought today. Bruce, we'll be talking to you guys real soon. Dana, thanks so much for being our guest today. We'll talk again soon. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Bye.
Okay.